Christopher Columbus returned to Spain with news of undiscovered islands. Later recognized to be the new returned to Spain with news.
Going
In
back.
1493, Genoese sailor Christopher Columbus returned to Spain with news of
Do you know
undiscovered
Christopher
islands.
Columbus?
Yeah, I was just
Later
about to say, I
recognized to
know
be the
the
New
name.
World. 5
Gringo.
years later,
I know the name.
Portuguese sailor Vasco da Gama successfully rounded the Cape of Good Hope and found a southern route to India. The age of exploration had begun. The two rival kingdoms met together and drew two lines on the globe dividing the
Okay,
world
Portugal
into
e
two
Espanha.
spheres, with monopolies granted to a Portuguese half and a Spanish half.
How do people have the authority to even do that?
It was because they were the first one to start this, like
To
going
discover
discover the word. Like Portugal e Espanha dividiram o país numa linha imaginária e começaram a explorar o mundo. I think it's because they were the first to actually go abroad and explore,
When
and
was
that's
that?
why.
15th?
Oh, that was 150 something.
No, like
No.
BC. You mean?
No, 1,500 something again. It's
Oh wait, 12,000
15,
BC.
15 something. 15
Yeah,
something.
15th century.
15th century, yeah.
Yeah.
Foi em 1500 e
So it's only what?
While the Spanish set
4 or
about
5
conquering the New
centuries
World and the Portuguese established a trade empire in the Indian and South Atlantic Oceans, neither side were aware of the small piece of the American continent which lay in Portugal's half of the globe.
So the
Which lay in
the treatment
the
they've
oceans,
done it
neither
is
side were
the
aware of
it calls Tratado de Tordesilhas in Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning that they will divide and then Brazil will explore this. No, Spain will explore this and Portugal will explore somewhere. Yeah,
Oh,
a
there.
small
Okay.
piece of the American continent which lay in Portugal's half of the globe.
Yeah, essa é a introdução, acho.
Before European discovery, South America was inhabited by numerous Native Americans
15th
who had
century.
migrated
Yeah.
from the north either by land or by shallow coastal sailing.
Oh, okay.
We aren't entirely
Yeah, so they're
sure.
the tribe
These
people.
early migrants
São as
lived in
tribos, são as
harsh
tribos,
conditions
yeah, that's
in
the
the most
tribes.
diverse bio-ecosystem in the world. These native groups subsisted mostly on agriculture, but there were some hunter-gatherer
Okay.
communities as well. And before you ask in the comments, yes, there were some cannibals. Most of these tribes lived on the coast and were broadly
Então, as tribos.
Wait, cannibals as in.
So the tribes that their mainly food used to be like just corn
Aye.
and other like stuff from the obviously from the
Aye, like crops and stuff.
like natural resources.
Yeah.
And it was a 1500 like
15th century.
15th century, yeah. So yeah, this some of them used to be cannibals, meaning that you used to eat people.
Yeah.
Yeah, algumas
Like
delas eram
cannibalism.
canibais e wow.
categorized into Tupi and Tapawea, although the
Tupi.
diversity did not make
Tupis in
too much of
Tapawea.
an impression on the Europeans. Here to help me out with early Brazil is Joe from the channel Jabsy.
Upon Vasco da Gama's successful return from rounding the African continent in 1499,
Vasco da Gama.
the Portuguese decided to begin trade in the Indian Ocean. Pedro Alvarez Cabral left the following year for India. Getting blown wildly off course during his southward voyage, he sighted land on the 22nd of April.
Okay, so what happened is he did want to go explore India,
Yeah, and then he went.
but
to,
then he went bad weather and
went to Brazil.
they went to Brazil. Like, por causa dos ventos, ele foi desviado para o Brasil.
April 1500, and a few days later landed at Porto Seguro. They named the locals they met as Indians, just like the inhabitants of the West Indies. But although nearly 95 times its size, Brazil's population was just short of Portugal's at just under 3 million. This
Wait, 3 million people of like those tribe people.
a city, yeah. So when they found Brazil, the population of Brazil was just under 3 million people. That's interesting, yeah.
That's a lot though.
That's a lot, but
time.
Portugal already probably had more, like probably I would say 5
And that was all
million.
tribe people.
Yeah, acho que Portugal nessa altura tinha mais população que o Brasil.
And where
É
did they
bem
come
interessante.
from?
These tribes, they came all over all the places. So for example, as you can see on the animated, they come from this, like they came from these parts here, and then it's like Vikings. They were exploring the world. É tipo os Vikings, eles estavam a explorar todas
Nobody
as partes
does that now.
ricas. Yeah, not now because
I know,
we
but
were formed as a nation now, so
I know
a
it's
lot
just
of countries.
weird.
You know what I'm saying?
land was the Tordesillas line.
Tá querendo
and
dizer
so
que já
was
ninguém
then
faz isso.
Portugal.
I'm
the
saying
locals
what you
traded
said.
with the Portuguese for pau Brazil, a wood with the red dye used in Europe. But the trade post was seen as largely inferior to the colonies in Africa and India. However, when the French began importing Brazil wood themselves, Portugal made a more concerted effort to settle in the area. And for the second part of this collaboration, visit my channel at Jabzy with the link on screen or in the description box below.
Ok. No princípio, os portugueses estavam só a fazer trocas comerciais com o Brasil. So in the beginning, they were just trading stuff between Brazil to Portugal, but meaning that Portugal wasn't even like, because I think what was gonna happen, I think Portugal tried to conquer Brazil. I don't know, I'm not
Right,
quite
okay.
sure. Não estou muito
Early Brazil was
certo
divided
nisso,
into
porque
15 colonies and
Yeah.
granted to wealthy Portuguese elites.
15
The only
colonies, yeah.
successful one, however, was South Vicente Island, which made a moderate profit
Santo
buying
Vicente.
natives.
So Portugal installed themselves in Brazil, basically making
Okay.
colonies. Like
Yeah.
Portugal se instalou no Brasil e fez as colônias. That's why some of the names are really, really Portuguese. So like
Ah, okay,
São
like they
Tomé,
made it.
Espírito Santo, Porto Seguro. Eles bem muito interessante por acaso.
Slaves. So the failing colonies were returned
Fazendo as coisas. Let me see what they're
Island,
saying.
which made a moderate
So
profit
it's
buying
for them
native
possible.
slaves. So the failing colonies were returned to the Portuguese crown in 1549 and a governor was appointed. Merchants and missionaries were the first to settle. They built a capital city,
Yeah.
Salvador, and began
Salvador,
trading
yeah.
in the Todos dos Santos Bay, mostly in the new cash crop, sugar. To help promote the
Okay.
economy, a group called Bandeirantes was sent to explore the land for minerals and slaves, which increased settlement for the export economy.
Oh, okay.
Slaves became more valuable as natives died from European diseases in large numbers. Missionaries
they
were
were
also very active.
slaves. They turned to be slaves then when they found them. The
Yeah.
people doing the tribes.
Acho que quando os portugueses se instalaram, eles começaram a explorar e começaram a fazer algumas pessoas da tribos de escravos. Corrijam-me se estou errado. Yeah, I think some of see when they installed themselves, so they started to explore, and then
Then they
some
find
of these
them.
tribes stopped, like obviously because they weren't developed as they start dying because no natural disease and stuff, and some of them used to actually gain to be like slaves.
Yeah.
I guess so.
At this time, mostly Catholic Jesuits who founded the city of Sao Paulo as a missionary school just a few kilometers inland from São Vicente.
Okay.
Another bay, Port January, was established as a French colony called Vilcanhão Island before the Portuguese kicked them out and renamed it São Sebastião do Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, São
When
Sebastião
Portugal
de
got
Janeiro.
busy during a
That's what it's
succession
called,
crisis in Europe,
Enquanto Portugal estava ocupado durante a crise da
the newly independent Dutch Republic very briefly swooped in and took over large parts of the colony. It didn't last long, but it did inspire them to put more resources into settling Dutch Guiana. The Atlantic slave trade was kicked off by the Portuguese, buying them on the
Okay.
Wait, that's how it started. The Portuguese started the Atlantic slave trade.
Um,
Yeah, that's what they just said.
I just said, isso
Yeah.
não durou muito, mas acabou se inspirando usando os
They
dois
started the
recursos para
Atlantic
colonizar
slave
Dutch
aqui.
Guiana. The Atlantic slave
O comércio de escravos do Oceano Atlântico começou com os
trade was
portugueses.
kicked off by the Portuguese, buying them on the coast of Africa and importing them to Brazil,
Oh,
where they
yeah.
were sold to
Yeah, as
plantation
well,
owners. More than 40%
Portuguese
of
have a
all
lot of
African slaves
history,
were imported
like-
to
Yeah.
Brazil. For comparison, just under 5% were imported to the United States.
Oh, really?
Brazil grew rapidly during the 1600s, creating new export markets for native plants as well as new
Brasil
plantation
cresceu muito.
commodities like
Cana de
tobacco.
açúcar também.
The system was held together by the royal
I think Brazil was just such a like a big natural resource for everybody that I think so then Brazil started growing up fast as well because they had like all these natural resources and
And they were all slaves, yeah.
yeah, there were slaves working there as well. Este sistema de organização.
Royal Fifth, when 20% of all minerals, crops, and other products went directly to the Portuguese crown, accelerating the establishing of public offices like tax collectors, accountants, and governors.
Okay.
When gold was discovered in the 1700s, the slavery economy boomed, and exploration of the interior was accelerated to look for new minerals. They opened up new markets to trade with the Spanish Empire and the Rio de la Plata,
Rio de la
but when
Plata.
this area became overrun with pirates and smugglers, the Spanish and the Portuguese met to establish a shared border control in 1750. Brazilian culture was becoming increasingly more diverse. Europeans,
Oh.
Indians, and slaves met to form mixed race groups called pardos, such as
Okay, that's
I've
why
never heard of that.
we heard about pardos. Remember when we react to a video and the guy said Brazil as this mix is not like as no like mixed races, like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
called
yeah,
pardos.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
so
because
that's 'cause of
os
that.
pardos. Ah, ok. É bem interessante até essa informação que a cultura começa a ficar mais diversificada. So
They're
the culture
Indians.
start gain like a lot of diversity,
Yeah.
and then that's
Europeans, Indians, and slaves.
so so
Indians,
that's when
Europeans.
Europeans and Indians and slave start getting involved to each
Yeah.
other, like obviously procreating, and then that's when
Yeah.
this race became around, like
It's meant
the
to form
pardos.
mixed race groups called pardos.
Ok,
such as
bem
the
interessante, não
mulattos,
sei.
cafuzos,
Os mulatas,
and mestizos.
mestiços,
Countless
yeah.
numbers of Creoles and
Meaning they
ethnic
were
So
having
identities.
yeah,
babies.
so light skins, like there's a, you know, in black, like there's a lot mixed race,
Yeah.
black whatever, and
And then, yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of. Ok, bem interessante, não sabia. Nós estudamos a
Probably
história.
people in Brazil now if they were to look at their family history, they'd probably have people, they're probably from
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
my
that's what you
late granny
Yeah.
was
I think someone will
Indian,
say that
and
on the
then the
comments as
dad
well.
was European,
Eu quero que vocês comentem
and so on, and
se nas vossas famílias vocês têm algum misto de para pessoas, tipo, os vossos antepassados vêm de alguns de índios e de escravos. Obviamente eu acho que os meus vêm de escravos também, porque eu sou africano.
like, do you have
Yes.
anything else?
Yeah, I
private?
think I think obviously because I'm black from, I don't know if my grand don't know, like if he was a slave, I don't know, because I'm
Yeah,
obviously
don't
black, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need to figure out. Não sei se por acaso
I know, I'd like to look at mine as well.
trilhaneiro avô, uma
see
coisa assim.
What national?
Não sei onde se passa, tenho que
races
perguntar à
and
minha mãe.
stuff were there.
Yeah, but this is really interesting.
Brazil was to become much more important to the Portuguese crown in the 1800s, thanks in large part to Napoleon. When the Iberian Peninsula was invaded and occupied, the royal family legged it to Rio, where they set up the government during the war.
Nice place.
After
Yeah. Após voltarem para Lisboa, o filho
returning to Lisbon, the king's son, Prince Regent João, declared Brazil independent and crowned himself emperor.
So what happened is, like, Portugal was getting wars, and then this Rei João, like King João, run to Brazil, and then give the Brazil independence and crown himself king. Emperor, yeah. Corrijam-me se estou errado, porque nós temos isso na escola e eu lembro vagamente que o Rei João fugiu quando Portugal estava a ter vários problemas. Acho que estavam, não sei qual era o povo ou o país em certo que estava a tentar invadir Portugal, se eram os mouros, eu não sei, mano. Eu fico muito confuso porque é muita coisa que uma pessoa teve que memorizar e fica confuso. E fugiu para o Brasil, e depois de fugir para o Brasil, fez o Brasil ser independente e se tornou imperador.
Brief independence war ensued, where the Portuguese found themselves battling not only the Brazilian army, but also thousands of civilian militia. Sounding familiar? The Empire of Brazil, however, failed to enact the changes that the wealthy landowners and
O imperador brasileiro não conseguiu fazer mudanças que os senhores da terra iam ganhar entre
the liberal elites had overthrown the Portuguese for in the first place, and so the nation was plagued by socialist insurgencies, slave rebellions, and even a republican movement in the Rio Grande do Sul, supported by the Italian nationalist Giuseppe Garibaldi. They spent thousands on wars with the newly
in the
independent
19th
South
century.
American nations as well. Investment in Brazil showed no signs of slowing down. Coffee, which grew extremely well
Yeah,
in the Brazilian
coffee,
climate,
that's
became the
it.
new cash crop, as well as
Café, o Brasil
markets
tinha
and
muito
rubber.
recurso de
Actually,
Eventually,
café.
the rate of immigration to Brazil was so high that it obviated the need for slaves, and the practice was ended in 1888.
Thank
The
God.
empire came to an end inspired by the ideals of republicanism and the Enlightenment,
Indonesia.
and soon a military coup placed Deodoro de Fonseca as the country's first president. The
Okay.
United States of Brazil.
That was called
Fonseca.
United States of
That
Brazil.
was what called before the United States of Brazil.
Because obviously it's South America.
Someone say that in comments. Alguém disse isso nos comentários as well.
Jabzy, whom I collaborated with on this project, covered over on his channel the Vargas era as well as the military
Vargas.
dictatorship that followed.
Okay,
which
foi o
led
primeiro
Brazil into
presidente.
the
This was the
21st
first
century.
president
So check
of
that out
Brazil.
when you're done here.
Vargas.
Brazil is not a simple nation. It is full of social struggles, an amazing triumph of nationalism, a complex political structure, and a nation at the top of the ladder of the world's most popular game, football.
So Brazil is known to be the country of football.
Yeah.
But in Brazil, like, this is the thing, like, this is why the people get so angry, because their government is completely so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Angola government is so corrupt. And what happened is that Brazil has so much to explore that you see, like, oh, they have food, they have football, they have all
Yeah.
this, but there's still people complaining because the government doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And what we see outside is more like violence and stuff, because that's what the media portrays about their
Yeah.
country. É o que eu estou a dizer aqui, a explicar na gringa.
Website immensely easy with easy to use tools, simple design layouts, and creative domains.
Yeah.
How about a website for your wedding in Rio at
Yeah.
ourrio.wet?
I think this is just...
Wait, so what does the government do then that's so corrupt? What does it not? What do they do?
Well, the government doesn't invest properly. There is so much to say. I think there is. They just steal a lot from like Brazil economy and stuff.
Right.
And it's a lot. It's a lot more than that. It's just bigger than what I can say because I'm not living there. Obviously, I can talk about my government because they're really corrupt. They steal the money from like whatever, like resources, like diamonds, everything, and they not exploring things that is really needed, like poverty and stuff.
Ah, okay, I get
So,
what you mean, yeah.
Corrijam-me se estou errado, eu vou traduzir aqui para vocês depois corrigirem alguma coisa. Se
That's why
quiserem,
they have the favelas because
yeah, that's why Brazil has a lot of favelas, like because the government didn't invest on these
yeah.
people. They just throw them away on favelas, and
yeah.
obviously they need to build a place to
Yeah.
live. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Tem várias coisas que nós também gostávamos de saber. Estamos de certeza a aprender muito mais com o vosso país e é interessante, mano. É interessante também para mim porque são coisas que eu dei na escola, mas que eu também não aprofundei assim um pouco. Eu era bom a história, por acaso, tinha boas notas. I was good at history, actually, by the way. But yeah, let us know, let us like tentem matar as nossas curiosidades. Respondam. Tem várias pessoas aí inteligentes nos comentários, várias pessoas inteligentes que me mandam mensagem.
What you saying?
Se quiserem
Give
aproveitar.
ideas.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, there is a lot of
Even
smart
like
people.
traditional weddings.
Yeah.
Remember I was saying that.
A gringa quer também saber como é que é os vossos casamentos aí, essas coisas. What I was saying is like, there's a lot of smart people in the comments. If we don't understand anything or understood something, they will send a message saying that,
Yeah.
oh, this is like this is like that. I like because they did that. Eu gosto porque vocês matam sempre as nossas curiosidades e as nossas dúvidas. Muito obrigado. Vos vejo no próximo capítulo e no vosso próximo episódio. Que fiquei esqueci.